Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Chicago Soccer Talk with Collin. Excited to talk about the Red Stars and Fire this week, but before we get to those, I normally stick with Chicago Soccer with the Fire and Red Stars, but this news is groundbreaking. I cannot believe I would ever be saying this ever, but some of the biggest news in soccer around the world ever transpired in the past few days when Lionel Messi, in my opinion, arguably the greatest soccer player ever, decided to sign with Inter Miami. I know, MLS, not Inter Milan, not staying with Paris or signing in Saudi Arabia, going back to Barcelona. No, he's going to MLS to sign up Inter Miami. And as you'd expect, ticket prices ballooned right away when there was rumors, and then when it happened, he signed with Inter Miami. Prices for Miami home games exploded, and then road games where Miami's heading to also exploded. There is a game that the Fire will take on Inter Miami in October, and it's at Soldier Field. I've not looked at tickets, but my opinion guess is probably ticket prices exploded already. They're going to be really high, I bet. Of course, I would want to go to that game, so I am going to take a look and try to see how much the tickets will be before A, they sell out, B, the prices are too high, and C, before the schedule becomes too difficult. So definitely I want to take a look at those tickets to go see Messi because it's probably my one time only I'll ever get to see him in person because he's getting ready to retire. And I saw him on TV a million times, but I never expected to see him in person. Besides maybe going to like Europe for some special trip, which is unlikely, but maybe some special occasion, or they do like a little friendly. For example, Barcelona came to the States to take on like Manchester City in some friendly, something like that. But he's actually going to be in MLS, which cannot believe it. And then B, he's actually playing in the States. So super excited. It's going to be amazing. A, for the MLS's ratings, help big time. B, maybe MLS will start to get more fans. People start becoming more interested in American soccer. Because, Messi, maybe we should start watching it more. And also definitely help Miami, the club, for sure. And I don't want to say that just Messi coming, because MLS has been growing. More fans have been starting to watch the league. They've been adding more clubs with expansion drafts and expanding, which is very good for MLS itself. And I think it's becoming a little bit more popular. I don't really know what to say of the Apple TV streaming service that 99% of the games are on exclusively because they have not released data statistics on how many fans are tuning in, how much money they're making off of that. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's been a huge success or it's been a bust. I personally have not paid for the Apple TV streaming service because I already have a few and can't spend money on a million streaming services because that's insane. I have been able to watch a few Fire games, whether it's been on Fox or other channels. So I haven't got to watch a lot of games, which is disappointing. I did go in person to see the Fire New York City FC home opener. I'm planning to go with one of my friends to see the Fire take on Orlando City in August and maybe try to catch, for example, the Inter Miami game against the Fire maybe in October. We'll definitely see, but Messi going to Miami and MLS, I cannot believe it. It's insane. And when I first heard the news, I thought it was fake news. It was like a little joke. Someone was a little bored and like, let's do a fake tweet. But then when it was confirmed and found out to be real, I was shocked. I was at lunch in the employee break room. I almost dropped my Diet Coke I was drinking. I did not, thank goodness. But I almost did when I saw on my phone that he was joining the MLS. So it's like a little bit of getting into things. Now I'll move on to Fire and Red Stars news. So for the Fire, They've been playing a little poorly, I know. They beat Austin, beat St. Louis. Those are great wins. Then they had a draw against New England. Now their most recent match was against the Houston Dynamo and the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Championship. Did the Fire win the match? The answer is, spoiler alert, nope. They lost 4-1. And I thought maybe the Fire could win this because back in the day, the Fire, I haven't been a Fire fan that long, but back in the day, from research, news, and one of the podcasts on the Fire I was listening to, Tyler Terrence, he said that the Fire back in the day, in the early stages of Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, were badass. They won it in 3 years, early on, like 2006, right there. They were dominating Lamar Hunt Championship. And the Fire have stunk ever since. They have not made the playoffs since like 2017. They have not done well in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Tyler Terrence said that used to be the trophy that the Fire could hold high, say, we won this trophy. We have success in United States soccer with Lamar Hunt victories. But I know they have not done well since. So hopefully the Fire can next year rebound, I guess. They made it to the quarters, so that's something. I can say that was a success as a fan. Because the Fire wouldn't make the playoffs, I don't know. But at least they made it to the quarters of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Cup, which is a success. Then, because last year they lost early against Nebraska. This year they made it to the quarters against Houston Dynamo, so a real MLS competitor. And Ben Olsen's a great coach. He used to coach DC United. Now he's the coach of Houston Dynamo. In the end, they lost 4-1 in the quarters, which is disappointing, but hopefully the Fire can start winning in more MLS regular season matches. We're towards the bottom, I know. Bottom of the Eastern Conference. We're struggling mightily. We need to start getting on the board because the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference as a whole are not loaded. There are a lot of teams toward the bottom of the pack. The Fire just need to start scoring. Need to get improved. They've struggled defensively to extent. That's been more positive. But offense has just been a letdown. And Chris Brady, Spencer Ritchie have done okay. So I know we're coaching flex with Ezra Hendrickson shown the door. Now, Kavas as the coach, hopefully he can incite more offensive firepower and some of these guys start scoring because that's been the major problem for years for the Fire. The offense has been toilet level, whereas the defense has been to an extent solid. The goalkeeping has been pretty solid the past years. We just need to figure out what's the issue with the offense. I know it's easy as an outsider to say, well, they just need to start moving pieces here and there. Put this guy at forward, this guy in midfield. Gets this guy off the bench into the starting rotation. I know it's easy to say that. But of course, it takes more than just hypotheticals or opinions. But I still agree with, and I'll stand by this, that they need to put two forwards up front, not the one forward maneuver. I know that in the past, the Fire have stood by the one, but I think two is more successful, potentially based on the players they have for Saboko, Kakamara, and along those lines. It's Fire blown away, out of the Lamar Hunt Trophy. No trophy this year. Moving on to the Red Stars. The Red Stars have played a bit better. They're out of last place in the NWSL. They moved to third to last, which is still stinky, but at least they're out of the basement. And NWSL is very weak. Their team is with very low amount of points so far in the season. And to be honest, they can catapult almost to the playoffs with a couple wins fast. The season is still going on, a lot of games left. And they beat Angel City, who's worse than the Red Stars. They've stunk last 5 games, only got 1 point. They've been really bad. And the Red Stars took advantage of that, beat them 2-0. Now they are out of the basement. Great win. Listen has shutout. The defense was unbelievable. Tracy Kruger did fantastic. Bianca St. George did excellent as well. Other players did excellent. And I give props to Ava Cook. She was the lightning spark for this match. She was on fire. She lit the road arena with 2 fantastic goals. These goals were above par, excellent jobs. So I'll discuss both of them. So the first goal Ava Cook had, these were also her first goals of the year too. The first goal she had was excellent. It was off a corner. So corner, and Ava Cook took it on stride. Fantastic header. I'm a big fan of headers. This one was excellent. So brilliant corner strike directly at Ava Cook, and she immediately targeted it with the header right into the goal, and the goalkeeper stood there. They had nothing to do. They couldn't even defend it, block it, kick it out of bounds. There was nothing. They stood there. It was a brilliant header right past her. And it was a great way to start off the match 15 minutes in for the Red Stars. Ava Cook, excellent. Great job. Great job with the corner, taking advantage of the header. 1-0. Then later, about 30th minute, another great goal by Ava Cook. You could say that the first one was a 9 out of 10. This one even better, maybe 9.5 out of 10. Because it was a great strike, and she was kind of like towards the middle, close in to the net. A couple of good passes got to Ava Cook, and she had 4 defenders on her, and she managed to sidestep 4 defenders. Brilliant strike past the goalkeeper to make it a 2-0 lead and 2-0 victory. So great header by her to begin the game, then a fantastic 4 on defender sidestep with a brilliant right-footed strike to take a 2-0 victory for the Red Stars past Angel City. And I know Angel City's bad, the Red Stars also are bad, but it's great to take advantage against teams that are below you or mid-par, same as you, because you need to start getting wins and draws at the very least. And for example, I want to talk about this. This is kind of baseball talk, but that's my favorite sport. It's kind of similar. I love soccer too. But in baseball, for example, the Marlins, I've been watching them lately, a fan of them. And they took on the Oakland A's, who are the worst team in all of baseball, and the Royals, back-to-back series, who are also second worst in all of baseball. And they swept them both. So you could say, well, it's obvious. We'll sweep these horrible teams. But in baseball, since it's a long season, you need to beat teams below you that you can beat. And they swept them both. So that's success. So comparing that to soccer, you need to beat teams similar or below you, which they did. Took care of business. Now moving on, let's see if they can continue that luck. Because they have won 2 out of 3 games, beating Orlando Pride, 1-0. They lost to Racing Louisville. Then they beat Angel City. So let's hope they win next match. So that's all I have for today. The Lionel Messi signing, the Chicago Fire defeat, and the Red Stars victory. So see you next time on Chicago Soccer Talk with Collin. Thank you for listening this week. Stay safe. Have a great rest of your week and next week. Goodbye for now. See you next time.